Hey guys, welcome back to TheAnkherShow. My name is Andrew. Right, so today's topic is why growth goes unnoticed. Have you ever felt like you've done so much to grow? You've actually grown, you've improved, you've gotten better at something that you've struggled with previously, but no one noticed. Not your wife, not your friend, not your children, no one, absolutely no one notices it. Well, that's a common, typical human type of behavior, right? A lot of times people are only interested in results. They just want to see the outcome, right? So don't tell me that you're building a house. Show me the finished product, right? Don't tell me that you're working on something. Just show it to me when it's done. That's just typically how humans behave, right? But for a guy, right? Remember, this channel is all about addressing issues that men faces, right? So, but think about this now. As a guy who, let's say you're struggling with, I don't know, something, drinking, smoking, whatever it might be, and you've done a lot of self-work and self-growth to kind of shake that habit and do better, right? So let's use smoking for example. So you're somebody who you do like a pack a day, let's put it that way, right? And over time, with intentionality, you've gone down from a pack a day to maybe 2 or 3 per day, right? Oftentimes, the people around you, especially if you have someone in your ear that's constantly telling you, you need to quit smoking, you need to quit, right? Oftentimes, that incremental growth or incremental improvement is not validated, or it's not seen, it's not appreciated, right? Going from a whole pack per day down to 2 or 3 per day, I mean, I think that's a significant improvement. And with more work and more intentionality, you're gonna go down from 2 to 3 a day to 0, right? You're gonna achieve exactly the objective that you set out on achieving, which is to completely quit smoking, right? And the same can be applied to a lot of other aspects and areas of our lives. You have a guy who is a provider. This is an average guy, makes average pay, but, maybe it's fallen short somewhere, and he made a commitment to himself and to his wife that he's going to maybe go back to school, work on getting a degree, so that he can eventually get into a position where he's able to provide more and, be more sufficient and or adequate with his provision for his family. Well, in some circumstances, right, a wife might see that, she might recognize it, she might acknowledge it, she might even praise this guy, like, I see what you're doing, thank you. You're doing great. Keep up the good work type thing, right? But then in a lot of cases, it's not seen. And for a guy, right, you're working so hard, you're picking up extra shift, you're staying up late so you can take this course online. You're doing everything that you can, everything that's within your power and will to improve your current circumstances so that you can be a better product, not just for yourself, but for those who matter, for your spouse, your children, etc., right? But when no one notices it, no one ever say thank you, no one ever says, I appreciate you. Yeah. Yes, we got feelings too. We are men, yes, I get it, but we got feelings too. And sometimes just a little validation or a little recognition, acknowledgement goes a long way. Nobody's asking for, a party, right? A celebratory party with champagne. No. Just a little, hey, I see what you're doing, I acknowledge what you're doing, I appreciate it, keep going, right? Sometimes that's all you need. If you think about it, even in the workplace, you have some employees, they work so hard, like a machine, just going, producing, and delivering on results and even more, right? Going above and beyond. But that employer, that boss, that supervisor never acknowledged it, never recognized what you're doing. Even if they see it, which I'm sure they do, but they never really stop and take the moment to say, hey, I noticed you've been working really hard. Keep up the good work. We appreciate it. The company appreciates it. Think about it. again, it's not looking for praises, right? We're not looking for praises and celebration over doing what you're supposed to do already. No, that's not the case. So don't get it twisted. What I'm saying is the same way how compliments and validation for a woman goes a long way, right? If your wife puts on something and she feels pretty, and yeah, she's looking pretty, but she also feels pretty. She's feeling confident. She feels herself. But you as her husband ignore, right? Maybe not on purpose, maybe intentionally, maybe not. But you didn't acknowledge her. You didn't say, hey babe, you look really nice in that dress. That dress looks really beautiful on you, whatever, right? She's gonna feel some type of way. And if you do that over and over and over again, she's totally going to feel some type of way, right? It's the same thing with us as men when it comes on to doing what we're supposed to do. Yes, going above and beyond, sure, right? We're doing what we're supposed to do. We're bossing up and doing what we're supposed to do as husbands, as fathers, as men, as brothers, etc. However, a little validation for the effort goes a long way. Because why is that important? Well, it encourages you to continue. It encourages you to keep going, right? Because the opposite of that encouragement can be failure or derailment, right? Say, you're going so hard at it, working extra shift, going to school at night, etc., but you don't get the acknowledgement and the recognition. But instead, you get nagging, you get complaining, right? As if you're not doing enough. Now, that can push a man off the edge. That can send you over the cliff, right? So that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's that acknowledgement. But here's a key piece right here, right? If you're not getting it, this is the most important part right here. If you're not getting it, right, you can go about it one of two ways. Let's say this is between you and your wife, right? You can go talk to her. Hey, babe, I've been doing this lately. You see me. I got a part-time job to go with my full-time job. I'm going to school at night, all that, right? You can sit down, and if this is someone you can have a conversation with, I hope she is, you can sit down and have a talk with her. Like, hey, I've been doing all this and you never once recognize or acknowledge it or whatever, right? Have that conversation. That's one way to go about it. Maybe she's like, oh, you know what? You're right, babe. I didn't realize. I'm sorry. You are going hard. I'm proud of you, whatever. That's one way to go about it. But the other way to go about it, right? This is a piece that puts you in full control. Praise yourself. Validate yourself. That's it right there. Validate yourself. Go look yourself in the mirror or not, but validate yourself. Like, look, man, I am doing a great job. I am working hard. I am doing what I'm supposed to do. I might fall short here or there or whatever, but I am putting in the work. I am putting in the effort. And I know if I just continue doing this, it's going to pay off in the long run. So kudos to me. Pat yourself on your own back. For real. Pat yourself on your own back. If you're not getting the credit or whatever it is that the validation that you need or you're looking for that you deserve, that's okay. Keep going. Validate yourself. Okay? Validate yourself. Don't sit there and wait for somebody to do it for you. Do it yourself. If you do it yourself and you validate yourself and you're proud of what you're doing, and then you get that external validation, whether from your partner or at work or wherever it comes from, then that's an added bonus. But most importantly, make sure that you're doing it yourself. A lot of times us men, we sell ourselves short, right? We can be doing so much for the people that we love, but because we don't get that acknowledgement and that recognition from them, we sell ourselves short. We don't give ourselves the credit that we deserve. Pat yourself on the back. Look in the mirror, tell yourself, well done, great job, you're doing great, keep it up, I'm proud of you. And let that be your motivation that picks you up and keep you going. All right. So guys, that's it for today. I hope you got some value from that. I hope you get to take away something from that. Again, if you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm glad you find us. Please go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell so you can be notified whenever I drop a new video. And until the next one, guys, let's continue to grow, evolve, and transform into the best version of ourselves. Peace.